Hey everyone, hope this video finds you well. If you're anything like me, you've been spending a little bit more time at your desk, and by virtue of sitting at the desk, we tend to round our shoulders and we tend to collapse in the lower back, and it affects our shoulders, our neck, our jaw, even going all the way down the spine into the lower back. So as I was sitting there doing some work a little while ago, I started working on some stretches and thought, why don't I put together a real quick video. So this is nothing fancy, super formal, just some stretches that you might be able to do while at the desk. I came in to sit on the mat, but you can certainly do this at your desk, anywhere that you're seated upright and comfortable. We'll spend a little bit of time here, and then we'll flip and we'll go to our back a little bit. So just take a moment. You don't need it, but if you have a block, as always, I kind of like to set up the postures for success. So by doing the block underneath the seat, that kind of creates this really nice welcoming environment for your postures into the body space. So let's just do a moment or two to do some breathing. Just kind of feel the breath move into the body. And again, when we're working at our desk and focused on things, it's nice to detach yourself from that just a little bit, even if it's just minutes, okay? So just take a couple deep rounds of breath. Your eyes can stay open or they can be closed, wherever's most comfortable. So as you breathe, just take a moment to kind of feel and visualize that upper body, the upper chest and the collarbone, the shoulder girdle itself, and even back down into the shoulder blades, the scapula, and then move up and into the neck and in the base of the jaw. So just take some deep rounds of breath. Finding yourself comfortably seated, legs are crossed, and just breathing into your body space. This in itself can certainly bring a sense of release to the body. Good. And then from there, let's just sink hands together, interlace in front of our chest. And all we're going to do is knuckles are facing out, and we're just going to stretch. So I'm reaching my hands towards you all, and I'm just rounding my back. So the shoulder blades aren't moving into the midline, they're moving away from the midline, so I'm stretching my upper back. And you can round a little bit, your chin can kind of fall towards the chest. So we do want to stay strong in our core. We want to be mindful of our alignment. So as we breathe, we just kind of keep reaching those fingertips a little forward, stretching, rounding the back. And then from there, let's inhale, take the arms up. Move the shoulders back, exhaling, and then gently release your hands behind your back. Now, if the hands don't comfortably come together, grab a strap, grab a belt, whatever's convenient for you, and just stretch the hands back down away from the shoulders. Move the shoulders back and open the chest, a couple rounds of breath. Moving that breath energetically through the body. And then from that position, we're going to inhale, take the arms up. We're going to interlace above the head. And then we're going to stretch the fingertips back forward. We're going to round, reaching the shoulder blades off the back, stretching, breathing. And we're going to do this one more time. Maybe the chin falls to the chest a little bit. As we inhale, reach the arms up, stretch the shoulders back, release. We find the clasp behind our back, arms reach down again. If you can't quite straighten your arms, and grab a strap, move the shoulders back, take a deep full breath, taking these inhales into the body space, into the sensations that you are experiencing, and breathing fully. We're going to inhale, stretch the arms up. Now from here, we're going to come back to that position for just a moment as we stretch the hands forward here, releasing the hands back to our thighs. Take a deep full breath. And then from this exhale, just allow the chin to fall chest. So we feel that flexion in our cervical spine. Flexion is the direction of our natural state for that cervical spine. So the natural state is extension, the curve into the body. We're allowing gravity to do most of the work here. And then we'll just simply take that left ear and kind of drift it over towards the left shoulder, opening the right side. Taking some nice deep rounds of breath. And this sequence really can be done in pieces. It can be done in its entirety. You can do a moment or two here, a moment or two there, whatever's convenient for you and whatever works for you and your body. We're going to bring the chin back in towards the chest. We're going to move that right ear over towards the right shoulder. We're going to take a couple breaths into that left side, staying strong in the core. So we want to maintain that sense of buoyancy in the upper chest, that lightness. Good. And then from there, we'll take the chin back in towards the chest. We'll lift our chin back to that neutral position and then move the head back a little bit. Let's take the arms back up on a nice full inhale. And then on an exhale, take the hands back behind you, re-interlacing the fingertips. Now, we'll stretch the hands down a little bit. Really sit up tall. Again, find that upper chest lifted. Now, from here, we're going to take those hands and we're going to move them to the outside of our left rib cage. Now that left elbow, see how it's protruding out? We're going to pull it back some. And then we're going to take that left hand and kind of move that right arm a little bit more towards the left. So we'll feel that nice stretch in that right side. We'll feel that nice opening, big external rotation on the left. And we'll just take a couple of deep rounds of breath. Now, if you're comfortable here, okay, simply that chin again is in that neutral position. Let your left ear dip back towards your left shoulder. So that's a big stretch into the right side of the neck. You'll feel it all the way into the scapula. A couple rounds of breath. Full deep rounds. And then from that position, we're going to lift the chin. We're going to reach our hands back down towards the floor, rolling the shoulders back. Inhale, take the arms up, stretch to release. Then we're going to release them back down, interlace behind our back. We're going to move the shoulders away from our ears, opening the chest, and then now we're going to transition the hands over to the right side. Now that right elbow is protruding out, we're going to take it back. And then I'm going to take that right hand and I'm going to gently pull that left elbow to the right a little bit. Shoulders are open. Heart space is full. Chin is neutral. And we're going to drop that right ear towards the right shoulder. Nice big stretch. And as we sit in our desk in our seated position for extended periods of time, I notice that one area of the body tends to kind of lend itself a little bit more tight. And my left side today is a little tighter than the right was. A couple rounds of breath. And then we'll slowly lift that chin back to neutral. We'll reach the hands back behind, roll the shoulders apart, stretch, pull the belly in, lift the chest, inhale up. Now, we're going to interlace the hands, and we're going to stretch the fingertips forward, just that original we did. And now we're going to reach the hands towards that camera, stretching, rounding the back. Now we're going to do a little bit more movement here. Again, this sequence can be broken into pieces, so you don't have to do this if you don't have the time. We're going to draw in and stretch up, reach, and then we're going to exhale, move the hands back, forward, and stretch. Now we'll do two in this form, pushing the knuckles away from us. Move it back and lift up, stretch, and then we're going to release forward, reach, round. Okay, let's pause there. Move the hands over towards the left a little bit. Feel a little bit of nice release in that right side. Come back into neutral and take it to the right, feeling that left side open up a little bit, strong belly. Come back into neutral. Now we're going to do a little bit different rotation of the shoulder girdle. So draw it up, stretch up. And this time, as you right down the center line of the body and then push the palms forward, still rounding that back, taking the shoulder blades away from the midline, and then zip the hands back together and stretch up. Let's do this 3 more times. Stretch, pause at any portion along the way. Stretch, palms forward, round the back, big internal rotation of the shoulder girdle. Draw it back and stretch up. And then release it down. I think that was 2, maybe 3. Let's do 1 more just to make sure we cover it. Breathing fully into the body space. I love doing these little kind of supplemental practices to your overall practice as the hands come back in towards the lap. Take a breath. Now we'll just do 1 more in the seated posture and then we'll work down to our back just to do a brief release of that, and then we'll wrap it up. So we'll take that right hand, and I'm going to take it to the left side of my skull. If you can place the fingertips behind the left ear, that right elbow is kind of pointing up towards the sky, and I'm just going to look down towards my right knee. So the chin kind of moves into the chest a little bit. Now, I'm really not using my hand at all. I'm just kind of letting gravity do the work, the weight of the head. But when I get into this position, strong core, I'm going to start to move the head back a little bit from this position, but I'm just simply going to resist with my hand. So I'm trying to lift up. Now from there, you can just kind of hold this for a few rounds of breath. You'll feel into the back of the neck, and understanding that when we move like this, we're incredibly mindful of the sensations that we are experiencing from this pose. We'll guide ourselves back up slowly, coming back into neutral. I'm going to release that right hand, take that left arm up and over, place it right behind that right ear, left shoulder's kind of moving up, and then I'm going to lean that left ear over, and I'm going to kind of gaze down towards that left knee. Now it's interesting, this side I'm actually feeling it all the way into the right scapula, the shoulder blade. So from here, basically just the weight of the head and the weight of the hand. And then I'm going to start to move my head away from this position, but I'm just going to resist a little bit with the hand. It's not an aggressive pose. It's certainly just very stretchy, kind of feel-good release. Sole purpose here is just to release any tension or stiffness that we may come across as we sit at our desks for an extended period of time. A couple rounds of breath. Good. And then we're going to slowly lift that back up. We're going to release, bring the hands back into this interlaced position. One more time here as you're going to stretch the hands forward and just reach and round your back. This time let's actively take the chin into the chest. Move those shoulder blades off the back. Stretch, inhale, and then a simple release. Good. So we're going to take the block away. We're going to move to our backs just for a couple rounds of breath. A couple postures here. So as you move to your back, take the soles of the feet to the floor. Okay? About hip width apart. Knees in line with the hip bones. Knees in line with the ankles. Move the back of the head to the floor. Just take a couple breaths. Maybe move the knees back and forth like a windshield wiper a little bit. Now, from here, we're going to do two separate poses. All right, the first one is super simple. We're going to take our hands and we're going to interlace behind our head. Now, I'm going to lift my head up, just simply using the weight of the head, lifting up, not using any forceful awareness in my hands, just lifting the head up, chin to chest. I'm going to hug this in towards the midline. So again, I feel like I'm a little bit of rounding my upper back and my shoulders. And then from here, I'm simply going to look towards the left a little bit. It's almost like you're looking towards your left elbow. Now the core remains strong. And then from here, again, going back to that flexion, maybe we lift the head a little bit more. Stretching. And then breathing fully into that space. Good. Inhale here. Slow release back into head to mat. Releasing the hands. Now the same thing we did in seated we're going to do here. We're going to interlace the hands in front of our chest. Knuckles face up. We're going to stretch. And we're just going to try to touch the ceiling. Just stretch up. Take the shoulder blades off your back. Round. Couple rounds of breath. Stretch. Reach. Awesome. Take the hands back behind your head. Lift your head. Move your chin in towards your chest. Hug the elbows together a little bit. And then simply kind of look over towards that right elbow this time. Core is engaged. And then perhaps you add a little bit more flexion to the spine in the cervical region by lifting the chin into the chest. Couple rounds of breath. Full cycles of breathing. And then a full inhale here. And then a nice exhale to release. Take the back of the head back to the max. And then last time here, we're going to interlace the hands. We're going to stretch the hands up towards the ceiling. We're going to round that back. Just feel that. Even this alone as a standalone posture feels wonderful. Release. Lower back is nice and connected to the floor. And then from there, just release your arms. Now we'll do one more little stretch here. Now, before we do this, I do want to tell you that this is a pretty big rotation of the shoulder. We'll put it on the moderate scale. So I want you to be mindful. If you have rotator cuff injuries or anything like that that's you're aware of, just be mindful. You can absolutely do it, but just be mindful of how the body is responding to what we're asking. Okay? So we're going to lift our back. We're going to take that right forearm and I'm going to simply place it underneath the flat part of my lower back. My palm is facing down. You'll see it on the other side. And then I'm going to simply let my hips rest on the top of my right forearm. Get a little bit of lift in the chest, a little bit of arch in my lower back. Left hand can simply rest on your belly. So this is moving the internal rotation of this right shoulder girdle. Feels really, really good. Couple rounds of breath. Right palm is facing down, fingers are spread wide. Couple breaths. Good. Let's inhale, lift up, and then we'll simply exhale, release. Okay? We're going to take that left hand, I'm going to slide it under. My shirt out of the way. So notice if you can see it, my left palm is facing down. My forearm is parallel to the back of the mat or to the foot of the mat. And then I'm going to rest my right arm. Taking a couple rounds of breath. Again, creating that nice internal rotation of that left shoulder girdle. Being mindful of the sensations that it's offering. Feels really good. Couple rounds of breath. From that position, we'll inhale, lift up, release the left hand, last little bit, interlace the hands, and then stretch the hands up final time. Stretch, 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 reach. And if you get here and you want to take a little overhead stretch, move the hands back, stretch, move the shoulders in, and then from there, release the hands, and then simply posture, facing 4 rounds of breath as you reconnect to the floor, to your mat, to your breath. Short sequence, kind of ran through some things to release the upper back, the shoulders, the chest, the neck. Okay. Taking a few rounds of breath as you settle in, as we bring this little sequence to a close. I hope this, again, it found you well, and I hope that it adds to a little bit of release in areas that can tend to hold tension and stress while we are working more and more at our desks at home. Be well. We'll see you next time. Thanks again. Namaste.